And you just talked about the damn Tommy Boy Chris Farley move right there.
Yeah.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
Take
Chicken
a deep breath,
wings.
slow down. That is my favorite. That's my favorite sales presentation. Tommy Boy.
I'll have chicken wings.
Kitchen's closed until dinner. Just got cold stuff and desserts.
Boy, some chicken wings would really hit the spot. You sure it's closed?
Let me check. Yep, it's closed.
All aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success one adventure at a time. Welcome back to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by House Call Pro, where business owners come to explore ways to take charge and level up. We are your hosts. I am Kevin Fontaine, and this is Patrick Harders. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen to wherever you get your podcast. And follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Hey, Pat, what's going on?
Hey, Kevin, how are you? This is an exciting topic. It's one I love the most, sales. So sales is, I think, the closest thing we get to combat sports and, really getting that competitive juices going is the sales process. And, so many people are nervous of it, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, sales. You got to have sales, right?
Yeah,
Feed the monster.
Really, yeah, it's where I cut my teeth at a young age. I got into sales. I was like young and got into selling Cutco knives when I was a kid.
Whoa, wow.
You guys all knew the kid that did that, and that's what I did. It was either, a roofing job or selling knives. And I'm like, selling knives sounds a lot easier than being pale-skinned and sitting up on a roof pitching tar around. So I went that route, and I learned so much on just presentation and talking to customers and the excitement and thrill of actually getting that sale.
Did you have the old burgundy van like Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite and run over your knife set?
Now, the sales is something that I think is it's the fun part. Like when you close that sale, you've been working on a project and you could come back and celebrate and your team is celebrating a nice sale.
Right.
That's fun. That's where it's just an exhilarating thing. And, it's not one personality that just dominates in sales. It's anybody can do it.
Yeah, sales is crucial, and everybody should know how to do sales. You don't have to be a professional salesman. Any entrepreneur can do a sales job when we have to, and you don't have to have an extremely bubbly personality. I know me and Pat aren't the most bubbly people at the party, so it's all about having a process, following that process, practicing it, and getting the bugs out. And how. Early in your career, Pat, you had to do most of your sales.
Yeah, I started off doing everything. So we used to do the nighttime design. So I would get done working at the end of the day and go out and do a nighttime design. And I did that for 14 years. So I'd meet with one customer at a time. It was, it was exhilarating when you get that contract, put it out there and get them to sign off on that contract and that expectation. And, I think 2009 sales changed a lot. People went to a longer process in our industry where it went from that, $2,000 to $5,000 project to a, $5,000 to $50,000 project. It wasn't something that was always being decided right away. So, we had to have a better process and follow up after that.
Okay. And, for people that, I think Patrick and I were talking about this earlier, that technology is changing. There's a lot more sales automations built in today. People are getting used to just clicking a button to have something done, or an app to get something done. But I think what we're going to talk about today is sales techniques for that face-to-face meetings that we have as contractors. These are more your bigger ticket items.
Yeah. Nothing replaces an actual person. So it's like, when you get those automated text messages, and we all have it, where it's like, hey, thank you for filling out the form. Someone will get back to you soon. And they get another one and another one. Here's, things to watch, here's things to do. Those are great. But that actual phone call and the response time really shows a lot. And, we really strive for that. And in social media, that's really important. Recent study showed that if you spend takes you longer than 4 minutes to respond to a Facebook intake form, you exponentially start losing that contact. So you need that fast response time. You need, to really be on top of that initial call. I work with a lot of landscapers out there and landscape lighting guys, and it's amazing how many calls go to voicemail. And, so often a customer will get that, even if you're the best customer in the world, if you don't have the right system in place and you're not responding quickly, you could easily start getting into, they just move on to the next person who's more responsive.
Yeah. So the beginning phase of a sales process, right, is to have some sort of quick communication, quick response time. And we'll get into a little bit of the bad habits first. This is what stuff we did all the time. Number one is not filtering or having a qualifying process as these leads come in.
Yeah, I remember one of my first appointments I had to drive an hour and a half to, and it was, the guy was looking for 4 lights. So I drove an hour and a half at 8 o'clock at night for 4 lights.
Wow.
And it was like, that could have been handled in 2 minutes on a phone call. And now with Zoom, if there's anything questionable at all, I'll just say, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call real quick and, go through a little bit what you're looking for. And, I'm not afraid to say, like, I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting your time. And I want to make sure that we could provide the service, because we're not the right fit for everybody. So
that's right.
I would much rather get on my computer for 5 minutes and go through that than, drive around everywhere and fight traffic and everything. So that screening process is huge. And those questions that the intake form's taken in, or that you're asking on the phone, or your person's asking on the phone, are essential.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me go through just some of the bad habits first, and then we'll dive into some of the correct ways. So not having a qualifying or a filtering process, arriving unprepared, badly dressed, dirty car, following the client around like a puppy dog with no process to guide them through right from the start, taking notes, not taking notes, and being distracted. Your phone's on, people are calling you. And then the old email and spray, or the email and pray, and trying to just move on to the next customer. I already sent the quote. He's good.
Don't want to bother him.
Yeah, right. So let's look at some of the correct paths to take as you look at to try to improve your own sales technique or process. So any entrepreneur can provide sales. It doesn't have to require a bubbly personality. You just have to have a thorough sales framework and process to follow. Practice, 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 and work on varying speech types. Pat, do you have a formal or just an informal type, do you think? Or
I think we're pretty formal in the sales process. We talk about processes and systems, and this is one thing that I think we focus a lot on, is that sales process. I naturally gravitate towards that. I think you said it doesn't matter your personality of being like bubbly and anything like that, but being authentic. So I'm not a closer. I'm not somebody that's going to shove something down someone's throat. Right. But being authentic and being really passionate about what you do should just exude from your meeting with that customer. They should get done with it and, know you really love what you do. Yeah.
So as these prospects come in, let's break down how this all works. So prospects is number one in our stage. So this comes in via all kinds of ways. You may be advertising, social media posts, home shows, lunch and learns, etc. But you got cold leads that don't know you. You got people whom know of you, and those are considered warm leads. Then you got people whom have been referred to you, and we call those hot potatoes. We like those.
Yeah, those are your easiest ones. When you walk in with credibility and you don't have to establish it, that's your best thing you could have, because then you could take ownership quicker and start working as if you're working on the job already.
Your customer that referred that person, they've already done half the work for you as far as getting that value, not value, but what do they call that when
trust.
The trust.
Yeah.
They've already built the trust halfway.
Yeah, that's so important. Like if you walk in and they know the work you've done, your reputation. So the challenge is when you're walking into a customer that doesn't know you, how do you establish that trust and credibility right off the bat? So I had yesterday, I was actually meeting with a client. It was at a restaurant in a small little town, little cafe. And one of the best things that he said to me is right after the presentation, he goes, I just sense your proposal is really expensive.
You are correct, sir.
You're right. That's exactly what I wanted him to think. Like, I'm not going like, oh, we're cheaper for this. I'm like, no, we are expensive. Like, And I want that coming through. Like, there are many reasons why. He's like, how much has this costed me so far? I'm like, I've done all this so far at no cost to you. But, and I always treat customers like I'm already working on the project and they could go somewhere else, but I'm going to give everything I can to that initial consult and really work on that. But I think we're pretty formal on the presentation and what we do.
Right.
But,
And then, you know, part of that trust building is initially how well you respond to these leads that are coming in. A
yeah.
lot of times we like to build in automations in our response times by,
Yep.
you know, the service software that you may be using, or even your website. You can build in an automation to instantly reply back, hey, someone from our company will be contacting you within X amount of hours. By the way, here's an About Us PDF, a flyer on our company.
Yeah.
You can add to that. So that's a great first step that shows instantaneous responses. And then boom, they expect someone will call them and they feel better. And a good thing about that is, Pat, that when someone gets an automated response via an app or whatever system you've put in place, they're less apt to keep calling other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get any response. I'm just going to keep calling until I get someone I'm talking to.
Well,
it's just natural.
70% of your sales process is just showing up.
Okay.
Like, you're going to get a lot of sales by simply answering the phones, showing up early. You know, we talked about professionalism, and that's a whole nother thing. But just your response time and showing up and being there when you said you were going to be there, because in this industry, that's something that your competitors struggle with. Like, the average contractor is just so busy that if you can make that a priority, like, hey, I've got to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I'm not leaving one job at 10:30 and calling the customer with bad news or just showing up an hour late.
Right.
You know, we're 10 minutes early. We have everything prepped. We're ready to go. We're dressed right. And we have everything prepped. And then even the information you're handing to the customer, I think you mentioned earlier, is, you know, it's from the customer's perspective. Like, what are questions they're going to have? Not just like what I want to tell them, but, you know, are there 5 questions you keep getting? So that might be in your initial, you know, item that you send out, just talks about like, here's 5 common questions people have about lighting, or here's 5 common questions that you may be considering. So it's like giving them something of value.
Okay. Yeah. And let's go down the list here. So we got prospects. We've covered that. Instant response. Okay. And then next we're going to cover research the client a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know, as these clients put in a contact form from your website, et cetera, before I schedule that callback as a salesperson, I'm going to research them a little bit, find out what neighborhood they're in, how far away they are from our shop, et cetera, and maybe some services we've done around them before. So I have some sense of cost that I can talk to them about.
Yeah. We go to Zillow a lot, and that's just a great website. Is, you know, we'll go and look at the house, what the house looks like from the inside. You know, I'm showing up and doing a design. I want to know as much as possible and let the customer know that I've actually started working and thinking about the design on the project, not just walking in totally cold. And if you have 10 neighbors that you've done work for, you should have that prepared. Like, hey, here's 10, we've done 10 of your neighbors already. You know, this is what we do. You know, here's the addresses. You could go check them out. So prepping and being ready, not just like checking the schedule that day and rolling out there to see what's going to go on.
Unprepared. Yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Hold on. Spinning the wheel. All right. And then next, identify your client and filter those whom aren't your client. It's okay to say no, people. So
you need to say no.
Yeah. Have a minimum job size requirement. Have certain services that you won't break apart. Like, Pat, if someone said, yeah, I want a new lighting system, but I only need 3 lights. And no,
or I've got an existing system. I want you to get this going. And then I'll look at, you know, so we want to go on our strengths. I've always gotten ourselves in the most trouble is when I go outside of where we're really good. We go outside of our sweet zone, and all of a sudden I'm, you know, looking at pool lighting and, you know, interior lights inside of a gazebo and how that should be designed. I'm like, this isn't what I do.
Overcommitted.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to please everybody.
Yeah. Try and make everybody, it's natural. We like to make people happy. We're trying to make our customers happy, and we just go above and beyond. And all of a sudden we've got job creep all over the place.
Shit, man. I was at a a customer's house doing some landscape work, and she said, she comes out to me. I'm all assholes and elbows pruning her shrubs,
Mhm.
and she says, "Hey, you think you can help me move my refrigerator?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
So anyway,
We had that happen. A customer came out and she's like, "Hey, can you bring my garbage out to the street?"
yeah,
And of course, I start doing it, and Josh, my head guy, looks over. He's like, "I'm not your garbage man."
right,
And I was shocked by it. And she's like, "Oh, that's fair." I would have done it in a second because I'm a moron. But I laughed and I was like, "No, we're not here to. We're like lighting professionals. We're really good at what we do." And the old saying is like, the more things you say yes to, or every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
right,
So sometimes we say yes to things that are not important, that aren't going to make us money, and we're chasing and doing all these crazy things, and we're not going after that one client or that big job, or
yeah.
we're just distracted.
Losing our focus. Yeah.
Yeah,
So identify the client and then shoot them off some general pricing. I
Yep.
like to inflate my general pricing.
yeah,
Why? Because you haven't set your eyeballs on their job yet, and there could be some hidden
yeah,
non-treasures that bite you in the butt if you go ahead and price it too low. So I say generally, landscape maintenance, our monthly contract prices per month usually start from 350 a month and go up from there, depending on scope of work, size of your landscape.
yeah, yeah.
So
They only remember the lowest number anyway. So
exactly.
if I said, "Hey, the average job is $2,000 to $20,000," they're going to be thinking their job's going to be somewhere in that $2,000 to $4,000 range. When you get
All the
out there and it's a 12,000 square foot home, you're going,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're closer
Yeah,
to the higher end range."
exactly. So don't overcommit any pricing. If you're not
Yeah,
sure, don't give them any pricing,
yeah,
because that's the worst thing you do is throw out a number, because they're going to stick to it and hold you accountable for that.
yeah, yeah.
Dress for the part. We used to go, Pat, to jobs. We're on a job digging in the
Hmm.
dirt, and then we get a sales call. We're like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes." We
Yeah,
leave the guy. They'll be back. Take the truck, disconnect the trailer, off to a sales call, dirty as hell. No paperwork, no leave behinds,
yeah.
and that's a
Suck down a
bad
Mountain Dew,
impression.
spit out your chew. And
Spit the chew out, eat the
yeah,
slice of pizza that's been there for 4 hours
yeah, yeah.
because
Get
you're
that rolling
starving.
hot dog out of the 7-Eleven, and you go there with your stomach grumbling. And yeah, we've
Yeah,
all done that. And it's you know,
it's
I say I want to walk in like I'm a designer, and that was a total mind shift of going into an appointment. Like, I want to dress the part that, I feel like an architect walking in. There's very few people that do what we do at our level. So, I want to dress that part. I'm a
okay.
professional. I'm a peer of the customer.
Yeah.
So it's
So
hard to do. When I was
you'll
25, that was hard.
so you'll actually break out a blazers at points then.
I have before. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've done that.
why not?
It's
You're
yeah.
dressing up for that high ticket sale, and it just permeates the fact that you know what you're talking about.
Truck is clean, organized.
Oh,
I learned that.
Lambo.
Yeah. No, I don't overdo it. I have a truck. I have a nice truck, but
Right.
it's not. It's like it's a truck still.
Yeah.
I've had guys I know that show up in a 911 or something like that, and it's like, the customer is like, they're just making as much money as possible off me. So I try and balance that out. And but I had a guy, Hot Rod, working for me that when I wrote a check, he was doing masonry work. And he showed up and he got fired from the job by the contractor I had, who was managing building my house. But all his tools were messy, his truck was messy, everything. And this guy was working for me. He looked at him, he goes, "You're fired, get out of here."
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, "What the hell?" Like, he does pretty good masonry work. He's like, anybody who's that sloppy in their personal life is not going to produce a professional, beautiful job. And I went, it like made me think about it. And I went, there's probably some truth to that. If he's sloppy, he's probably going to cut corners. And your customer is like, my average customer is 50 years or older, and a lot of them are military. They're disciplined guys that run businesses.
Right.
They see me getting out of the truck full of dirt and mud, and
Yeah.
they're at least going, well, if nothing else, he better be cheap.
No doubt. There you go. So dress for the part, have your presentation materials, product samples, leave behinds, special gift. Patrick, lawn and landscape. What we used to do is bring everybody we met with a packet of seeds
Mm-hmm.
and something else, some swag, like a koozie, something cool, just
Yeah.
lightweight, just to say, hey, we appreciate you. We actually had also a neighbor across the street that made their own custom coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And we got these little mini bags made with our little logo on sticker on there. We'd
Okay.
bring them something like that. Just kind
You
of a,
do that
hey,
on the
excellent.
presentation?
Yeah, we do it right at the beginning of the meeting. Say, hey, here's a
Okay.
little something for you. We thought you might like. It's just a hobnob, like
Yeah.
smoozing
Icebreaker.
type. Yeah, icebreaker,
Yeah.
as you're shaking their hand. And then, so next step, after you've got that initial meeting, you're there, you're looking great. You've got some
Mm-hmm.
leave behind, some product samples. Now's the time to be confident in what you're doing. Hopefully you've practiced this routine and worked out the bugs, because now you're going to explain to them why, what, and how of what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. This is something, I mean, I look like a nut job driving out in the car, or in my truck. I'll actually practice as I'm going to the appointment. I'll have it all written out. I'll practice my presentation. And I am 100% believer that presentations aren't done on the front porch. You have to go inside.
There you go.
I think the first mindset that somebody taught me a long time ago was, how would you act if you had $1 million in the bank? And what would your attitude be? And that's really my presentation, is like, hey, I'm not going to retire if I get this job. I'm not going to go bankrupt if I don't get this job. I want to get the job because I like doing this, and this is going to be a fun project. So that's my mindset going in. But then the next thing is, you got to get in the house. You got to sit down at the table.
Yeah. You want to make it personal.
Yeah.
And you just talked about the damn Tommy Boy, Chris Farley move right there.
Yeah.
Don't get scatterbrained, get calm
Yeah.
and relaxed.
Yeah, exactly. You need to take
Chicken
a deep breath,
wings.
slow down. That is my favorite. That's my favorite sales presentation. Tommy Boy.
Can you check to see if the kitchen's closed? Yeah.
Yeah, it's closed.
It's closed.
Yeah.
Why, people would rather buy from you knowing that you have a cause or a passion, or there's another reason. You're not just selling an object, right? You're
Yeah.
selling your corporation, your personality, your culture, your vision, your what you're about. Your whole company dynamic is on your shoulders as you walk into their house, hopefully.
Yeah. We looked at it last year, and I said, if I had an opportunity to sit down with somebody, we're at a dinner party or sitting around a campfire, and someone says like, hey, why should I get lighting and why should I go with you? And I had 3 hours just to bullshit with them. I know they would be so convinced because I'm passionate about what I do. So how do I condense it down into like 10 minutes?
There you go.
And that's what we looked at, is like, how do we make everything we're going to say important? How do we take out all the fluff? And I think one thing that we talked about earlier is the listening part. And, you had mentioned how important it is when you're communicating with somebody is to listen to your customer. And that's just, basic communication, but we get nervous and we talk too much.
Yeah. Let them talk, but also ask them questions, get them engaged in the conversation and in the project. What about this? What about this color? Do you like this? Get them active. And this allows you to create the ideal solution, because you start finding out their pain points, their favorite colors, all those good things help them identify better with you, build that relationship, help you build value, and it gets you guys on the same page.
Yeah. Find out what motivates them. Why now? You've had your home for 20 years. What excited you to start doing lighting or consider lighting at this point? So,
Excellent.
Those are great probing questions that you want to take that shield away, because everybody builds up a defense for somebody coming to their house to sell them something.
Right.
And so you want to take that all down. And, I think the best thing is to just start acting like you're working for them. Like, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do here? How can I help? And just being very relaxed on the presentation.
Don't let customers run you around like a puppy dog. So that's an important thing. Like, I remember back in the day, cafe, I used to go to customers' houses for like lawn care, and immediately they would be on the front porch. Hey, glad you're here. All right, let me walk you around and show you what I got going on today. And he would throw me around the house and, all right, when can I expect a quote from you? He's dictating the whole conversation.
Yep.
And so you got to take that power back and say, before, if they start trotting off, like going to show you the damn project already, just say, hold on, sir, ma'am. We'll look at that here in a minute, but let me go through my company presentation with you first.
Yeah, that's a great point is to, just say, hey, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I want to make sure that we're a good fit here. I've had a customer one time call me up and he had 3 other contractors all show up at the same time. And he's like, all right, this is a competitive bid. And I
Oh
just looked
boy.
at him. I said, give me a call when you're serious. And I just got back in
Yeah.
my truck and left. And, I had another customer, we're going through it, and he was dictating everything, what the price is going to be, how much he's going to pay. And I just stopped and I said, I don't think we're a good fit. I appreciate your time today. And he got angry as can be. He's mad at me. He's like, no, we're great. So he's then starting to sell me on coming back. But I had to have that strength to go like, I don't really want this job at this point if this is
Right.
the way the relationship's going to be.
I think that's huge when us as especially owners, when we talk to customers, it may be a lot different than our employees, but as soon as they start attacking our price, our values, and start trying to throw us in a soup bowl with a bunch of other knuckleheads that don't have near the experience or certifications that we have, my hard wall comes big time down, and I want to just get the hell out of there.
Yeah. And just say it in a nice way.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the reaction you get because they haven't had somebody do that with them. And they haven't had somebody say like, no, I'm just not interested in doing this. So if you're really looking at something that's special, I'm happy to work with you, but I'm not going to do it, where 3 of us are all going to beat each other up. They could have the job. I've got a lot of other jobs. I'm overbooked right now. So,
Yeah.
that's, hey, you have $1 million in your bank account. How do you act?
There you
You
go.
can walk away from jobs easily.
And then now provide them, once you've gathered all this information, if you can quickly quote it,
Yeah.
the best time is now. Use service software like House Call Pro
Yep.
or any type of thing, maybe Excel sheets, etc. But if you're able to quote it right then and there, please do accurately, and then give them that solution. But the best thing too is also think about a little bit of options in what you're showing them, because you don't want to pigeonhole someone into one option only.
Yep.
Give them a cheaper solution and a more expensive one maybe, but people like choices.
Yeah, not where you overcomplicate it.
Right.
If you're talking trees and you say, hey, you got a 3 foot, a 5 foot, or an 8 foot crepe myrtle,
Boom.
these are your 3 options. The 3 foot's going to look great in 3 years, but you're sacrificing a little bit. In lighting, we do it through, scope of the project. So we say, hey, front, back. I don't do it on product quality. I don't think that's the right way to go.
No, but Pat,
yeah.
what about this? Say you're a lighting contractor, outdoor lighting. Have a good, better, best, but the way that works is good is, hey, we're only going to do the front now.
Yeah.
Better, we're going to do the front and sides, and you get a slight discount because we're doing more scope.
Yep.
Best, we're doing your front, sides, and back, and guess what? We got an efficiency savings built in. Boom, you're saving $300 if you sign here today.
Yep.
It can be that.
And I think the other thing is your expectation. Like, you shouldn't be shocked when somebody signs right there. It should be an expectation like, hey, if I'm going to put this much effort, like by the time you've done the advertising, researched the customer, came up with a design, you went through all this process, there's no reason that they shouldn't move forward with you. And that confidence is huge. Just go ahead and sign here. We'll go ahead and start get Miss Utility called. We'll be out next Friday. Go ahead and get the job going and hand it over to them and then shut up. That's one thing we don't do is we get nervous at that. Once you ask for the orders, we start talking and you lose every time once you do that. You just got to be quiet and sit back.
Yeah. And it's not a problem if you guys can't quote on the job and if you have to go back to the office and all that stuff. We're not
better.
saying that's bad, but
Just better.
it's better the more you can close on the spot, Johnny on the spot, because like we mentioned earlier, this is more of an emotional buy. People don't have to have services performed to live. So, and
you
it
could have
can
weeds or
be a
bad
lot of
trees.
Yeah. And it's expensive, stuff we do outside adds up.
Oh yeah.
So
the other little key is when you are inside, and I say this all the time, like if a customer offers you food or beverage, always take it and always love it.
Okay. Oh my God. And don't mind my dog Snooky. She's going to be licking your balls. And it can be uncomfortable sometimes. You got to sit on their couch. One time I was on their couch and I had a chew in and I thought I was just going to be there for like a minute. I was
Yeah.
there for freaking 9 minutes, man. And I was like trying to hold on my saliva.
Yeah.
Like, you got a bathroom?
Yeah. Spit the chew out.
Definitely don't have chew in when you do a sales call.
No. Person.
One thing, guys, that you can help break down your sales process. We'll put this up on the stage here. This is a USP. So it's a unique selling position. We'll have this available to download below for free. And what it does, it just breaks down what you're good at and what you need work with. Okay, this is criteria examples can be anything. Client communication, how you schedule, quality control plan, like Pat just mentioned, how are you going to follow up with that person after the sale or to check in on the sale? Fulfillment of that client expectation, how's that going to happen? What's your current process? Is it bad, good? How are your competitors doing things? Compare that with your competitors here and rate yourself and work on those bad things. And then create a statement, Pat. I don't know if you've ever done a USP statement, but it's 1 or 2 short explanation sentences of how you solve a common industry problem and what's your unique solution and how this benefits the clients.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a mini mission vision statement.
Yeah. Elevator pitches in the sales thing. That's like, hey, you're stuck on an elevator and someone wants to know, tell me in 3 seconds why you're better than your competitor. And you should be able to do that in seconds. It's like, it should be so ingrained that you've thought about it enough. Like, this is why I'm better. And it's going to change and evolve as you do. Like, what I thought why I was great 15 years ago is something I laugh at now, going like, oh, that didn't really solve any problems. But
if someone just says what they do, I sell insurance. Yeah, I do landscaping. I mow lawns. That's very boring, and it's not very intriguing for them to ask a follow-up question. I think so, guys, work on your passion, why you do what you do. Maybe you feel you change someone's life. I know we do with outdoor lighting and landscaping because we relieve them the stress of having to worry about the outside. Now they can, after work, go outside, light up that cigar, and pop the top and relax and reduce their stress. So we're bringing in lifestyle change to our work.
Yeah. No, that's what we're creating space. You know, you're creating space for someone to, I mean, everybody has tension in life and everything. And you get like today is a beautiful night. It's going to be 70 degrees. It's finally spring. You know, go sit out on the patio, have a beer, talk to friends and hang out, have a fire going, you know, have beautiful environment to relax in, some music, everything. I mean, that's a good night. So we're creating that. So we're getting people out of the TV and watching a stupid movie and you know, letting them enjoy interaction with others.
Hell yeah. Well, that wraps up this episode, guys. Make sure you to subscribe to our Outdoorsy YouTube channel and hit those notifications. Listen to wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on the social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Level up your professionalism, reduce stress and workload in your business, and check out House Call Pro, amazing software for us service pros. Link in the description below, and Outdoorsy viewers receive a special intro pricing. Big thanks to all the Outdoorsy. Both of us cough.
I was trying to hold that in to the end. I'm like, damn, you're going too long.
Yeah. Big thanks to all of us coming together as outdoor service professionals. We're trying to level up our professions, and we're trying to get to that blue ocean. I've got a blue ocean guitar. I got a shark guitar. Yang, yang, dang, 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 dang. So blue ocean strategy, guys, that's what we try to do. And we're trying to elevate ourselves to improve our lives, our families, make more money, obviously. But in the end, it's all about building that legacy business where we can pass the baton on to our sons and on. Pat's crying about it. Oh, Pat.
I'm
No, he
breaking
just
up. Now the
coughed
lights
like
in my
hell.
eye and coughed.
But the end goal is to elevate ourselves, develop a niche, pass a baton to our family, or maybe franchise or sell. But we got to build this triangular up every day. And we're here every Wednesday, guys. Like us, subscribe, comment, please. What would you like to see next? Ask us questions. We'd love to hear from you. So can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. See you Wednesday.
See ya.
All aboard!